I have just got back from London, and today I would like to contaminate you with a dose of Britishness, because I will be reviewing the brand called Pinhaligon. You must have heard about it already. The thing that I like about them is that they still separate their fragrances into female perfumes and male perfumes. Pinhaligon promotes personality profiling as one of their services. And I got this set that is called Portraits to see what kind of perfume would match my personality. And as a helper, I got this little book that describes the personalities matching the fragrances. Today, I've also decided to do something that I have not done before. I will rate the fragrances. So I have 5 male fragrances and I will start with those. So my favorite one in the set is called Mr. Sam. This one is supposed to be an American abroad. You know that this guy is a player, but you still cannot resist his charm. And the wonderful thing about this fragrance that somewhere between the lines I catch the note of plum. It's not listed in the pyramid, but there is something plummy in the air. And the dry down really surprised me. In the morning, the blotter smelled like oud with cinnamon. Totally different than what I had in the evening. Does not it make you think about a one-night stand? Nonetheless, my rating for this fragrance is 5 out of 5. The next one, where I find a surprisingly unexpected fruity note, is called the Inimitable William Pinhaligon. Nothing in the pyramid tells you that there is something sweet in here, but I catch the note of fig in here, and I'm very addicted to fig. This perfume is very likable and chic, but I rate it number 4. The only 1 out of 5 in the men's section that met my expectations in terms of pyramid and what I feel is Much Ado About the Duke. The image that I have of a person who'd wear this fragrance is a lumberjack with a very soft heart, because the woody notes are really well done in here and the touch of rose is just so delicate, but not feminine. The fragrance where I was hoping for more woody notes is The Tragedy of Lord George. It smells a bit like a forest, but not woods of the forest, but more like herbs and grass of the forest. And I think the tragedy of Lord George is that he's an alcoholic. And I don't feel the note of brandy in here, it smells more like British gin. For me, this is 2 out of 5. And the last one that I rated only 1 out of 5 is called Terrible Teddy. It has nothing to do with a teddy bear. For me, this is a kind of person that is rude, that just steps on your foot and does not even apologize. This fragrance is very overwhelming and pushy, and to be honest, I really disliked it. This is the only one in the set out of 10 that I really disliked. Now going into the female section, I will start with my least favorite, Duchess Rose. And the portrait of Pinhaligon is a young bride. I rated it 1 out of 5, not because it's badly made, but just because I'm not a fan of roses. If I were a perfumer and someone asked me to make a fragrance for a bridal salon, that's a kind of fragrance I would imagine. It really smells delicate roses, kind of airy and transparent. At the same time, there is a light smell of a new doll that usually comes from a mix of roses and lilies of the valley, although lilies of the valley are not in here. The part that I do like about it is the way that musk is done in here. It's very soft and it's just complementing the rose. The fragrance that I rated 2 out of 5 is called Changing Constance. I did not really understand this fragrance and the way it comes out. The beginning is cardamom that is more typical for men colognes rather than female fragrances, but at the same time, it definitely is a female fragrance. Very quickly, the opening gives you some hints of alcohol and tobacco, yet with some sweetness. It smells a bit like hookah salon, and you think that direction of sweet alcohol and tobacco is going to develop further towards amber base, but it kind of doesn't. This fragrance cuts you short. That sweetness stays very subtle. And then you're like, what happened? This fragrance is not going anywhere. It's like a flower that never fully blooms. Nonetheless, the pyramid does make sense. After an hour or so, this fragrance smells like a sweet and salty caramel, but very close to skin and maybe around your intimate zone. The next one I have in here is Yasmin, the Bewitching Yasmine. Is it about Jasmine or not? Let's see. This smells like a nightclub. It's like a crowd of very well-perfumed people, and I'm trying to search for this lady Yasmina. Where is she? I could not understand this fragrance from the first time. I had to wear it for 2 days. Eventually, I did find jasmine in here, but this jasmine is not the kind of jasmine that I'm used to in fragrances. I think it's closer to the flower called Hédion that is very jasmine-like, but is sharper. And there is some sharpness in this fragrance indeed. This sharp jasmine is combined with oud and they make the core of this fragrance. At the same time, there are other nuances that come into a puzzle and draw the portrait of a lady who would wear this fragrance. In my mind, this is a woman of a big city like New York, and this is a one-night stand kind of girl. Picture this. A girl is inviting a man for a cup of coffee after a nightclub. He goes up and she prepares him Egyptian coffee with cardamom. And this freshly made coffee with cardamom is mixed with incense sticks of her apartment, because this girl is a bit of a hippie. She is wearing cheap jasmine fragrance that has that sharpness, and her dress has absorbed the atmosphere of the nightclub, that smokiness and alcohol and pheromones that were released from sexy dancing. You don't really like this girl, but you're really attracted to her. I found it so addictive. I kept smelling it all the time. It is kind of sexy and animalistic. And the dry down with oud reminded me of the fragrances from Initio, Parfum Privé. Some of their fragrances are very hyped right now, and if you love those perfumes that are mostly amber based but they have tobacco, rum and cinnamon and they imitate the smell of oud, you really will like this one, I think. I really would love this fragrance if jasmine Hédion note was not so sharp. The way it is, I rate it 4 out of 5. Another fragrance that is also white floral, in this case it will be tuberose fragrance. And I would say that this one is really blooming tuberose that has a lot of sweetness and a kind of peachy coconut touch in here. Some people really love it and find it very feminine. Others say that it's a bit on the grandma side. I think that tuberose can smell like a grandma when there is a very strong presence of neroli, orange blossom, and amber and vanilla. Here it's not the case. Orange blossom is very delicate in here. Tuberose is really dominating 90% of this fragrance. And the other 10% is an interesting touch that comes from fresh herbs. I personally don't like it, but it makes it a bit different than other tuberose fragrances. Very often tuberose is associated with a tropical vibe, and indeed this fragrance could be great to take on vacation. I mostly associate it with a charming lady in her 30s who might be an Instagram star. For me, this fragrance is number 3 in the female section of the Discovery set. The Revenge of Lady Blanche. This white lady is indeed not very nice as her name suggests. I was hoping for beautiful, delicate white florals, and instead I get a fragrance with a very strong herbal note. The opening smells like freshly cut grass. The description suggests that it's hyacinth, but I really feel it as grass. And there is certain bitterness that I associate with the bitterness of apple skin. You know those Granny Smith with the green skin? Just the moment you bite it, there is a little bitterness in its skin. This is what I get in here. Together with the freshly cut grass, this really covers and hides the white bouquet that is inside. But I really enjoy how this fragrance develops. It develops into the floral direction. And unfortunately, I could not find any iris in here. Narcissus is indeed recognizable, but what I do find in here is a bloom of apple tree. Have you ever smelled apple trees in bloom? That is so amazing. It smells almost like floral nectar. So the transformation from a green herbal to white floral is happening within an hour, and I really like wearing it from the time that herbal notes have disappeared. Despite that I did not really like the green opening of Lady Blanche, I think this is my favorite in this collection, and I could really wear it during the summertime. So this will be it. I hope Pinhaligon will forgive me for twisting their portraits and imagining my own.